But great, you might say. Great, now we're back to things that God can't do again, right? Because, okay, he took a human nature, very good. So he can do all the things that human beings can do, but he can't be 34 because he died when he was 33. He can't be an old man. He can't be pregnant. He can't, maybe, very easily, he couldn't even get sick. Jesus maybe couldn't even get sick. So I thought from those Bible verses, he experienced everything we experienced but sin. And also, here's another problem with this. Great. How can, and this came from another conversation I was having, but how can we relate, how can Jesus relate to me now? Because I thought he experienced everything, he could help me go through everything. But now, if he can't relate to being 34, when I turn 34, can he not relate to my experience, or being an old man, or being pregnant, or any of those womanly things? So there's a lot that could be said in an answer to that, but I'm just going to focus on one answer to that that's biblically based. So God took on human nature. Remember that. It's very important. And human nature is more connected than we like to think it is. Because remember, all sinned in Adam. I wasn't there when Adam was there, but because Adam sinned, my nature is messed up and wounded. I have a wounded nature. And the same thing, because Jesus came, it spreads life to the whole tree. Think of it like a tree that is human nature. So you can't do anything to one part that doesn't affect the whole. So that's very important. But even more important, we look to the letter St. Paul to the Colossians, verse 1:18. He is the head of his body, the church. Jesus is. So that's his mystical body, right? And then we look at Colossians, just a little later on, 1:24. St. Paul's talking about making up for the what's lacking in the sufferings of Christ. And we do that too. Well, literally, nothing's lacking in the sufferings of Christ. It was wholly sufficient. It was completely good. There's nothing else that needed to be done. But in one way, we do make up what's lacking. How is that? Because as his body, he is going through everything that we're going through. Jesus is himself. Jesus Christ is. Everything that you're going through, everything that I'm going through, Jesus is going through that for the church, right? Because he's the head of the body. You can't separate the head from the body. So we really do make up, and St. Paul talks about it a lot in that letter, but we really do make up what was lacking in his sufferings in a sense. Just like Jesus said in John's Gospel, he said, they will even do greater things than I do. But that's not literally greater. That's he just stayed confined to a little area. So he didn't do stuff over the whole world in his physical body, but in his mystical body he does. And that's the same for us. And one cool thing about this fact that we are the body of Christ, we're the mystical body of Christ, we could dig deeper into this. But one thing I just want to leave you with, something to think on, is I have everything as a member of the body of Christ that any of the members have. Because you can't separate them. Well, you can. When we go to hell, we separate ourselves. But you can't separate the body. You can't separate the head from the members or the members from each other. And I'm borrowing this idea from Henry de Lubac. So I have, in a real way, when I need it, and I have access to when I need it, Mary, the Mother of God, her faith. I really do, in a real way. And when I need it, I have St. Joan of Arc's courage. Like, really, it belongs to me because I'm part of the body of Christ. So those are just some things to think on. So in a sense, there are definitely many things that human beings can do that God can't do because he's infinite being and we're just limited being. But when he took human nature, that changed because he entered into our world what we're doing. So he could do all those cool things that he couldn't do before. Well, they come about because they're limited, but he did those. And even the stuff that we're like, well, Jesus, the times we think Jesus can't relate to this because he never experienced it. Well, it's not true. Because he's experiencing in his body everything that any member of the church has ever experienced.